We are officially in March and just under 2 weeks away from kicking off the 2024 SEC basketball tournament at Bridgestone Arena in downtown Nashville. In my honest opinion, I think 6 to 7 teams could all make the case to win the championship this year, the SEC tournament trophy that'll be hoisted up on Sunday afternoon. I mean, it's easy to say 6, 7 years, yeah, but that's usually it's 3. I mean, I think it's double this year. You got some real teams that have there's a lot of depth. I mean, you could have a team like LSU could get a little hot late in the year, but the 6, 7 teams, I mean, I would say Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee, let's say South Carolina, Mississippi State, Florida. I mentioned LSU if they got hot, but welcome to the SEC Unfiltered channel. I am Dave Shumate, host of Mock 10 Sports. Please go and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on the SEC Unfiltered channel so you are notified whenever we upload great content like this one. We're heading to the biggest weekend of the regular season. We got Bama, Tennessee for the de facto, essentially, SEC championship, SEC regular season championship. That's a big one in itself. We got Florida, South Carolina. It's going to have top 4 implications involved. We have Mississippi State, Auburn. People feel like Auburn's going to hold serve at home. Mississippi State's been playing really well, even despite their loss to Kentucky on Tuesday night. Still think they've been playing really well in their last 7 games. I wanted to break down the projected SEC tournament seeds according to Ken Pomeroy. For people who don't know him, Ken Pom, he projected the SEC teams how they would finish in their 18 games, and how the SEC tournament would break down at that point. So I'm going to break that down for you there. But first, I just wanted to go, if the season ended today, this is what the standings look like. You got Tennessee coming in at 1, tied with Alabama. Again, they play this weekend. Then you got South Carolina right after that. Auburn sitting right there. Florida, Kentucky, a couple of teams tied of Mississippi State. LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Georgia, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Missouri all sitting in that kind of sad Wednesday range. But just wanted to bring up the SEC standings as we stand right now, heading into the last week. We got 3 games left, but this is as they stand. Again, going into this weekend's action. But next, I wanted to kind of we'll go back to – I kind of wanted to go initially into the remaining games for the top 6. Let's just lock into the top 6 teams in the SEC right now in the standings. With Ken Pom's projections for each matchup in the parentheses. I think Auburn probably, and most would agree, probably is the easiest remaining slate. Again, Auburn has Mississippi State at home, at Missouri, and Georgia at home. Ken Pom does not have them losing a game on the remainder of the regular season schedule. He has them winning out. But for Tennessee, who's tied with Alabama for first place, Tennessee's got at Alabama this weekend, who Ken Pom projects Alabama winning that. Then he's got them at South Carolina getting a win and then getting a home win against Kentucky. For Alabama, they host Tennessee. Ken Pom has them winning that. Then they go at Florida. That'll be a tough matchup. Ken Pom has them winning that. I don't know if I really agree with that one. Then hosting Arkansas to end the year. I like Bama in that one. South Carolina. Hosting Florida in a big one. Like I mentioned this week, it has top 4 implications from an SEC tournament standpoint in that one. He's got South Carolina winning this one at home. Then they host Tennessee. He's got South Carolina losing that, and then heading to Humphrey Coliseum and taking the L to Mississippi State, according to Ken Pom. Then Kentucky hosts Arkansas this week, obviously win. He thinks Vanderbilt at home win. And then at Tennessee, he's got him with an L. Florida lost to South Carolina on the road, lost to Alabama, and at Vanderbilt. I have a hard time seeing Florida losing both games at South Carolina and when they host Alabama here in the next week. I think they get 1, have a real shot to get 2. And then Auburn, we mentioned, the easiest slate left out of the top 6 teams. They got Mississippi State at home, at Missouri, and then Georgia at home. But let me go back. Let me share the screen here and bring up what Ken Pom has projected here from an SEC tournament standpoint if we were to end today. So he's got Alabama as the 1 seed there. He's got Alabama coming in as the 1 seed. Tennessee's the 2 seed. Auburn the 3 seed. South Carolina 4 seed. Who else has he got around here? He's got Florida. He's got 3. He's got Kentucky as the 5 seed. 6 seed, he's got Florida. 7, Mississippi State. 8, LSU. 9th, Ole Miss. And then he's kind of got the sad Wednesday matchups from looking at it here. You got Arkansas coming in 11th, playing Missouri as the 14th seed. Texas A&M and Vanderbilt coming in both respectively as the 12th and 13th seeds. It looks like that. I mean, those would be some interesting matchups there. I mean, you'd have Ole Miss and LSU playing Alabama. You would think Alabama would probably win one of those games, would win. Obviously, the one seed getting a good matchup there. You like Alabama in that one to advance, if I was going to predict that right now. And then you got Kentucky playing the winner of Vanderbilt, Texas A&M right there. So, I mean, again, you got that 11-14 matchup with Missouri, but right there, you have the 12-13 matchup, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M. I would like A&M to get out of that, play in Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. They would go on to play South Carolina. So that top bracket right now, I would say it'd be LSU, Alabama, Kentucky, South Carolina. I think Alabama gets past LSU to get to Sunday if we stood right now. But again, this is the quarterfinals in the SEC tournament. The quarterfinals in the SEC tournament this year would be – it's going to be a tight race. It's going to be a fun, tight tournament. Again, it's going to be deep, man. You have 6-7 teams. I mean, you got Kentucky would probably love another matchup with Alabama, just from Alabama's defensive standpoint. And then you got South Carolina. I mean, I would take Kentucky against South Carolina there. Probably Kentucky getting to the semis against Alabama. I would like Kentucky in that matchup. I don't think Alabama can guard well enough to do that, even if they're finished as the number one seed, win the SEC regular season. Going to the bottom, got Tennessee sitting there as the 2 seed. Auburn's a 3 seed. I'd take Mississippi State playing Tennessee in that matchup. Man, that'd be a physical matchup in that quarterfinal matchup on Friday. And then I think Florida getting the winner of the 11-14 matchup between Arkansas and Missouri. Who knows? I mean, Arkansas coming off the loss to Vanderbilt, especially. Give me Arkansas playing Florida if we had to stay right now. And then give me Florida versus Auburn, which I think, that would be some fantastic matchups. I would take Tennessee over Mississippi State. And I'd probably take Auburn over Florida. I was impressed with all. I mean, that's about as impressive as you could be after a loss if you're an Auburn fan, Bruce Pearl, or anyone on that staff, the players, after last night's performance. The offense came. They played. Is the defense that really let them down in that game against Tennessee. They had a real shot to win it with under 8 minutes left. They had a real shot. Can you imagine the quarterfinal matchups? We got LSU, Alabama, which may be the worst matchup of the quarterfinal Friday. Then you would have Kentucky, South Carolina, I think, because I think Kentucky's going to get past Texas A&M. Then you got Tennessee, Mississippi State, because I think Mississippi State gets by Georgia in the Battle of the Bulldogs. And so you got Tennessee, Mississippi State. Then I think you'd have Auburn, Florida, because I think Florida would beat Arkansas or Missouri, and I think it'd be Arkansas. So you'd have those. You'd have Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Auburn, Florida. It would be unbelievable. I would go with Auburn, Tennessee in the semis, Alabama, Kentucky. I would have Kentucky beating Alabama right now. I'd probably have Tennessee beating Auburn again, and I'd have Tennessee winning the SEC tournament. That's how I'd go right now. If we were standing right now, as of today, the beginning of March 1st, I would have Tennessee as winning the SEC tournament right now. And that's would be their second in 3 years. Them and Alabama would almost be passing the tournament back and forth to themselves. The SEC tournament championship back and forth to themselves. But I just wanted to bring that up. I just thought that was a good, fun exercise. Ken Pomeroy projecting. Obviously, you can go to his website if you subscribe and see where he has the projected finishes all the time. But I thought with a week, 3 games left, really about a week left. Again, fantastic matchups. I said we're gonna know who wins this league after this week. And again, we got the de facto regular season championship title. Both teams need to win this game. Alabama, Tennessee speaks for itself. College game day is going to be there for Alabama, or in Coleman Coliseum for Alabama in this matchup. Then you got South Carolina, Florida. Again, massive top 4 implications going on in this. You got a lot of those teams between Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Florida all fighting. Throw South Carolina into that. Like I mentioned, South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, and Auburn were all kind of fighting for that spot, for one of those top 4 spots. And this South Carolina-Florida game is going to have massive outcomes for that. I think Mississippi State could be a little sneaky for Auburn this week. I mean, everybody's assuming Auburn's going to win out, as they should. Mississippi State at Missouri and then hosting Georgia. But it kind of sets up as, do they bounce back from that loss quick enough? That's what I would have to say there for Auburn. That's a tough one to pill to swallow. Same for Mississippi State. Mississippi State defense travels. That game could get a little bit tighter than people would probably like to say. if I'm being honest. So we have some fantastic matchups with the rest of the league slate on Saturday. I just wanted to go over what the SEC tournament would look like as of today. Get your mind, start getting into that mindset. March is here. It's tournament time. Championship week's about to be upon us. We'll break down the full SEC tournament once we get that, release that bracket here within the next week. But just wanted to talk about it. Again, a fun slate coming up. Again, I think if you presented me this, I would go with Tennessee winning it. But I do appreciate you joining us on this segment of SEC Unfiltered. If you don't already subscribe, it's free. Just click it, like, rate, review, click the notification bell so you do not miss any of this great content we consistently bring you here from the SEC Unfiltered platform. I'm your host, Dave Shumate. Thank you for joining us.